Got a good number of people in, so I think we will crack on. So, good afternoon all, and welcome to the 11th Change Control webinar for the MHHS programme. Today we're going to be looking at CR061. This is a change on the alignment of the M10 date to the 22nd of September 2025 for clarification. So we've been joined by Matthew Breen today, who's going to take us through the change request itself, and then this will be followed by a Q&A. As a reminder of how these sessions work, this is a broadcast rather than an open discussion. So if you do have any questions on the change, please submit them through the Slido that Hannah will have shared in the chat. This will be open till the end of the day. So if you have any questions you think of after this meeting, we can answer these, and then this will be published by close of play today. As a reminder of the general change process, this will be sent out for impact assessment by the end of the day, with the window opening tomorrow morning. This will run for 10 days and it will close on the 22nd of May. So we will move on to looking at the presentation of the change itself, which will be presented by Matthew and then followed by a Q&A. So Matthew, if you would like to take us through the change.
Thanks, Will, and afternoon all. So, as per CR55, the M10 milestone date was set to the 24th of September, which is a Wednesday following the M10 cutover weekend. Oh, sorry, Will, I'm getting some feedback. Thanks. This was done intentionally to allow the programme to gather the relevant sort of information and declarations from participants to confirm that everything that was required to take place over the cutover weekend had taken place, and therefore that we could ratify the decision on the M10 milestone. However, as you all know, recently we've issued some requests to participants and to central parties for their own versions of their M10 and M11 cutover plans. And as part of that activity, we've been engaging with participants, engaging with central parties to walk through some of the activities that they will be carrying out, which have already been captured in the cutover plan. But in the process of doing that, we've sort of identified that there's a little bit of confusion around exactly when central systems are expected to go live. And this is a result of when the M10 milestone has been set. So even though we've sort of communicated in this approach in the M10 M11 cutover plan, the idea that central systems will need to be live on the Monday immediately following the cutover weekend, which is the 22nd of September, there's some confusion among participants because of the M10 milestone sort of decision taking place on the Wednesday, a couple of days after that. So in order to sort of remove the confusion in industry and to provide a bit more clarity and also the avoidance of doubt as to when M8 and M10 will be taking place, we're proposing to move the M10 milestone 2 days earlier, so realign it with M8, so it takes place on the 22nd of September as opposed to the 24th of September. This is purely just a date change of the milestone in terms of the approval of the milestone. It won't have a material change on any of the activities that need to be carried out by parties in terms of getting their systems live. The expectation was always that central systems would have to be live on the Monday. It would just be that on the Wednesday we were validating that had taken place. So I don't think that there's really too much more to it. As I said, we're moving the milestone back by 2 days. Everything else that's within the cutover plan in terms of governance will remain the same, with the exception that M10 will take place on the Monday, and when it gets to the Wednesday, we'll be adding in an additional Tier 3 milestone, which is the verification of the M10 acceptance criteria having been met. So it will have no material change on any participants or any of the activities that they have to carry out. The governance meetings will all remain the same. It's just that the M10 milestone will show as the 22nd of September in the plan for further clarity for participants. I don't think it's really worth going over the change anymore. It is literally, as I said, a change 2 days back just to provide clarity. Will, I don't know if you want to talk about the next steps or what the next step is here.
Yeah, so Thank you, Matthew, for taking us through that. So what we'll do first is we'll open up for any questions and answers. So as mentioned, please submit any of these into the Slido that's been shared into the chat. We'll give that a few minutes, but as I mentioned, this will be closed at the end of the day. Once this has been reviewed, we will share the questions and answers, and we will issue this change request for impact assessment, where you'll be given the opportunity to review and provide any impacts that you foresee for the proposed change. We'll open this for 10 days, as I mentioned earlier, and this will close on the 22nd of May. This will then be reviewed by the Change Board and then proposed to the PSG, depending on the outcomes of the impact assessments. So I think, Hannah, have there been any questions submitted to the Slido?
Thanks, both. We haven't had anything just yet, but we will be able to keep the Slido open for the day. If anyone has any questions, feel free to pop that onto the Slido, which is on the chat.
Thanks, Hannah. As I said, we'll leave it for a few minutes, but if you have no questions, feel free to drop off. And then, as mentioned, the Slido will be open for the rest of the day.
I suppose. As we said, it's just a fairly straightforward change just to provide a bit of clarity to industry. I wouldn't expect that there's anything too sort of challenging in there, or that there's a lot of controversy around it. We are, as I said, not making any material changes to the plan. It's just clarity.
Yep, still no questions. Oh, sorry, we've just had a question from Robert Langdon. Is the additional Tier 3 milestone outline in the change request?
Yes, I believe that is in the change request, isn't it, Will? The name of the proposed milestone. And when adding a milestone into the programme plan, that will go through the relevant programme governance. So it will go to the MCAG, the Migration and Cutover Advisory Group, for verification of adding that milestone in.
Right, thank you, Matthew.
No other questions so far.
Okay, then I think we're good to leave it there. So, and obviously do get in touch with either the PMO or PPC mailbox if you have any issues accessing the Q&A throughout the day, and we can provide you assistance. Perfect. Thank you all.
Thanks very much for your time, all.
Take care.
Cheers.